everyone, welcome to my second card in my fun little card making Halloween series. I'm killing two birds with one stone again and combining this with one of my My Favorite Things countdown posts. So always there will be info below the video with links to my blog and info on the release. All this stuff will be available on Tuesday. So yeah, always make sure to check that out. I'm using the Pure Innocence Baddie About You stamp set and the coordinating little dynamics. It is so adorable. So I stamped her onto some Copic quality 110-pound cardstock with My Favorite Things Black Licorice Hybrid ink, which I have raved about ever since I first got. It is my ultimate favorite for coloring with Copics because it does not smear at all. So I did the skin first. I just used my standard go-to Copic color combo for the skin, which was E50, E21, E13, and then a little bit of R20 for her cheeks. And then for her little outfit, I basically was kind of picturing it as the light source kind of coming from the front, like shining on her. So you just want to make the center areas of everything lighter. And then that also gives it some more dimension in a way and kind of almost like a 3D effect. I sped this up super fast. This is like 800%. Because I don't really do anything super, fantastic. And plus I personally bore myself after I've spent all this time coloring it and then editing the video and then doing the voiceover over it. I just feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. So that's another reason why I speed it up so much, because I'm over it already. But with this, I just worked lightest to darkest. Coloring like something that's technically supposed to be black is quite challenging. I still have a hard time with it. You basically want to use shades of gray to create something to look black and give it dimension, because if you just went solid black, it's going to be flat and boring. Yeah, it's tricky. Like I said, I still need to practice with it, but I used C3, 5, 8, and 10, worked lightest to darkest, and then back to the lightest again to give it that dimension. And then I decided to give her black and orange striped little leggings here because why not? It's super fun. So I used my YR04, 7, and 9. And then I just took my colorless blender and went around the edges a little bit to kind of push that color back in. And then for this textured piece, I used the new Spiderweb Cover Up Dynamics. If I remember, I will link to the product review post that I did for MFT. Like in the video, I show how I created the embossing rather than die cutting with that. If not, head on over to the MFT page. It's on their blog and YouTube channel and all that stuff. But yeah, I had it sitting here, so I wanted to use it because I'd already done it in that video. So did that, and then I die cut some bats from steel gray cardstock. These little bat dies are in the new Spooky Scene Dynamics. And I purposely cut them from steel gray so I could sponge them, and it just gives them that extra something. So I sponged them with steel gray ink and then a little bit of black licorice ink. And you can see here how it just gives them that extra just depth. So really easy to do. You're gonna get ink everywhere. I had it all over my fingers, but that doesn't bother me. It's only when I get glue on my fingers that I get irritated. And then I pulled out my little Sharpie poster paint pen and added little highlights on their wings, just because I knew I was gonna adhere it over that black spiderweb piece of cardstock. And when you're putting black on black, it just kind of all disappears and melds into one, and what's the point? So that was another reason why I did the bats in the gray and the sponging and then adding the little bit of highlight so that they will show up. And because I can't leave well enough alone, and I had my white paint pen, gel pen, whatever you want to call it, sitting out, I started adding a ton of highlights to the colored image too, which I probably shouldn't have done, but yeah, as soon as I start pulling that thing out, I want to add like white dots and highlights to everything. It's nuts. So anywho, I grabbed 2 strips of steel gray cardstock, and I'm just inking up sentiments from that same little Baddie About You set. The second one is actually 2 separate words, but I just put them together, lined them up on my craft mat, and stamped them onto the cardstock. I had used my anti-static powder tool first, and then stamped the sentiments in Sweet Tooth pigment ink, and then I embossed them with some detail white embossing powder. One's going to be for the front of the card, one will be for the inside, so I just did them all at once so that I only have to bring out my heat tool and the embossing powder and all that stuff at once. And then with little pieces like this, I just carefully line them up on my paper trimmer, and I press down on the clear ruler there. That kind of helps hold that piece of paper in place because my fingers obviously can't, so that I can trim off really small pieces and work with little pieces like that. I've been doing that for years, and I just thought I would include that in the video. And because the video was in focus at that point, because a lot of times it's not. So found some Halloween twine in my stash. I thought I had more of this, but I actually don't, so I might have to get some more. But just wrapped that around the card front and tied it in a bow, and then I popped the little Pure Innocence image up on some foam tape, and then cut down some more foam tape to add the little sentiment, and then the remaining pieces of foam tape I added the bats, and I covered their eyes, one because it was easier to use a bigger piece of foam tape, and I only added the tape to the bodies so that if the wings pop up a bit, I didn't end up folding the wings at all, but I just thought it was cute. And then I just filled in kind of the holes of their eyes with the white poster paint pen, just because I didn't want to leave that stickiness exposed, because knowing my luck, it ended up picking up like lint or something and just looking gross. So did that. Then I grabbed the sheet that the stamps come on and just used that to hold some Ranger Multi-Medium Matte Adhesive. When I'm done with this, I'll just use a baby wipe to wipe that off the sheet. And then that way I can pick up some Doodlebug Tangerine sequins, and I just use tweezers at this time to pick them up instead of my quick stick, but I prefer the quick stick. I don't know, I had a pain with the tweezers. I edited that out of the video because you guys didn't need to watch me for like 5 minutes fiddling with tweezers and trying to get the sequins into place. So did that, let it dry for a couple minutes, it didn't take long. And then I'm going to adhere the main image there to the card front with some more foam tape, because again, Halloween, I like to go all out. It's fun. So open up my card, and it's a standard A2 sized card base, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I inked up the main image, this time with just the same steel gray ink that I used to sponge on those little bats. And then there's my little sentiment that I had done with the first one. So just apply a little bit of adhesive, pop them into place, and I'm going to pop those 2 remaining bats in that I sponged and all that, and that finishes off my card. So like I said in the beginning of the video, there will be a link below the video to my blog post with the pictures and the info and all that fun stuff. So always check out that below, and check out my first Halloween video if you haven't seen it. And thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing and thumbs upping my videos, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!